Hi, Andrea. I'm so honored that you reached out. I'm actually at a very beautiful spot right now. I'm in the park closest to my house, right on the East River. And look at the river and the city. Isn't that beautiful? So went on a nice walk, autumn walk, after I voted early. So I'm going to answer your questions. I'm so glad you saw Indecent this weekend. Where did you see it? Did you see it? There's a couple productions right now. Toronto, San Francisco. I'd be so interested to see how they do things differently than the original production that I did. How is Tati? And could you show her? I wish I could show her, but she's not with me at the park. I always wish she could come everywhere with me. But she's great. I think she loves that her humans are home and that she is home from the road. She was with me when I was in Houston, Texas at the Alley Theater. What was your experience like getting to work on the play in the West End, as well as a lesbian character? Well, as you can see from the play that you saw, the role of the middle, Helena, is many roles, some of whom are lesbians and some of whom are not. But I think the most important thing is the intersectionality of her queerness and her Jewishness. And I experience a lot of intersectionality myself in my life. And so for me, it was just about acknowledging where the friction in society was at the time for characters like Dorothy and certainly Manka, and where the friction presents itself in the play. And I'm trying to respond to it with as much humanity as possible. The experience of doing it in London was overwhelming. It was, first and foremost, in hindsight, it was my pandemic play, and so the 10 of us and everyone associated with getting it back on its feet after the pandemic, what a play to return to, about the power of a play, in the face of so much annihilation. It was so healing to return to it, and so essential. It was incredible to work on it with the playwright. Paula Vogel was very involved, and to work on it with the original director and conceiver, Rebecca Teichman. It was just a very humbling experience, and as a Jewish artist, as a woman, so much of it was so powerful because it was made by Jewish women. So that was really exciting. Let's see. A favorite moment from Cabaret. It's my favorite musical, and I've seen 4 different versions of it. I enjoyed Cabaret. Cabaret was a real surprise for me. I just never saw myself as Sally Bowles. I think I've always seen that my role in Cabaret is a future Fräulein Schneider. And so I think my favorite memories just had to do with, when I didn't have any expectations or dreams about what my Sally Bowles would be, because it was, for so many people it's a dream role. I just didn't have a relationship to the role that way. So I just felt so incredibly free. One of my favorite moments as Sally was a really despicable moment. At the end of Act 1, when they're at the engagement party for Schneider and Schultz, and this, the Nazi anthem starts. In our version, Sally was neither involved nor fighting it. She was just this aggressively neutral party good timer, if you will. And one of the things I did was, there was a big pile of fruit, because obviously Herschel sells fruit, and I took an orange and I peeled and ate this orange in the most disgusting, indulgent, peels everywhere way. And to me it came to symbolize, while the world burned, Sally ate an orange. It wasn't a pretty feeling, but it was I think my favorite acting choice I made in that production. your last questions, let's see. How can we get more plays and musicals to be written about the subject of anti-Semitism? I think a lot are, but the thing I always like to say is, maybe you should write them. Maybe you should be the person that writes the next great play about addressing the humanity behind that. And I think the most important thing, of course, is like understanding hate, where it comes from, and that it's really so much to do with fear. And it's always important to decry the evils of anti-Semitism and any hatred or oppression, of course, but that a really beautiful act of activism is to be Jewish joyfully, to be proud of your identity that falls under an oppressive identity, to be proudly Black, to be proudly gay, to be proudly Jewish, to be proudly Asian, whatever it may be. When you are hated, to take pride in that identity is a real revolutionary act. So maybe you should write it. And your voice is electric and super soulful. Oh, it's very sweet. Sending love to you and Tati. Well, thank you very much. I'm sending you all good things back. Thanks for reaching out. And one last view at the beautiful city.